Here we are. What's going on? What's going on, young people? We're gonna let one groove for right now. Brian McKnight. If y'all know anything about this. And we are gonna have a special guest tonight. He said he was gonna be on time, but then he said he had just hit me and said, I'm gonna be a little bit late. Man. Folks, sometimes, I'm gonna have to give me a rag, cause man, I'm sweating like man. I've been trying to get home for like the last 3 hours, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. My son's calling me. I was cleaning up the Airbnb. Somebody checked out at 11 today, and then somebody was checking in at 3. So I'm too cheap to pay somebody to clean it. I have house cleaners, but most of the time, I clean it myself, just to hang on to that $200. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just to hang on to that $200. That's it. So we got some viewers on here. Let me first say, yes, I do own the rights to this music. This is Brian McKnight. I have the rights to play this music, so I want to say that. But this is where I want to go. I want to welcome y'all to the Dr. Love Friday. I'm Stephen Pierce, the Doctor of Love, former wide receiver of the Cleveland Browns and a lover of love. And my wonderful, beautiful, intelligent co-host, introduce yourself.
I am Linda Streater, so pleased to be with you again. Marriage and family therapist, life coach, relationship coach, and behavior coach. Oh yeah, and author of 2 books, The Art of Manifesting Love and The Power of Conflict. So both of those books are great for relationship. One is about finding love and how to have love and how to manifest love in your relationships. And then secondly, the other one's about how to resolve conflict in relationship, because no relationship is ever void of any conflict at all, which is just disagreements. And that's kind of
it. That's right. Well, let's jump right into it. First of all, I have questions already. Can you see the questions?
Let me get here. I should.
Willard Harris said, "Hello, Linda."
Hi, how are you, Willard? Jacqueline.
What's up? Okay, we're gonna jump right in. Last week we wouldn't finish answering a few questions. We were talking about what was that we were talking about?
Well, we were talking about the red flags of a narcissistic person. And that was a question that had come through several weeks ago. And someone wanted to know what were the signs of a narcissistic person.
And can you explain to those who don't know what a narcissistic person? I can't even say it. What it is?
Well, basically, a narcissistic person, a personality, is a person who only thinks of themselves more highly than anyone else. Tend to have behaviors or traits of someone who's self-centered, selfish, and had pretty much a grandiose idea about who they are. They are driven by popularity, who they know, connections, who knows them. So they can be pretty insensitive to people that are in their life when they have love in their life. So I was giving you red flags of that, which basically breaks down the personality even more.
Right. So you saying do not get in a relationship with one of these people.
Well, someone wanted to know. Skylar said, "Hi, Dad. Love you." But what I am saying is good to know the signs of a person who carries those traits, because obviously it's a concern for a lot of people. That's a personality that you hear often now. When you hear someone say a person is selfish, they're self-centered, they think about no one but themselves. So back to the question was, what were the red flags of a narcissistic person? Is simply what I'm doing. Now, I guess if two narcissistic people were in a relationship together, they would probably bump head and maybe they would be good for each other. I don't know. So I'm not saying not to, but if that's not you and you would have a problem with that, then you may want to know what to look for.
There you go. There you go. Before you jump into it, I want to say congratulations to my beautiful daughter. I love you, Skylar. She just graduated from St. John's University last year, but they canceled the graduation and they just did it this weekend. They did it today, actually.
Yeah. How about that?
In New York. So that's her undergrad. But last week I was there in New York, and she got her master's from NYU.
So, yeah. Congratulations, Skylar. I tell you, go girl.
Time. Yeah. Now I got to try to get her to go get her PhD so we can start calling her doctor. So she can be the doctor of, she can be this other doctor of love.
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead. What have you got so far?
So did you want to kind of finish those up? Is that what you're saying? You're welcome, Skylar. But anyways, I think we got to like point 1, 2, 3, 4.
We were on 6 or 7.
We were on 6 or 7, 4, 5. Okay, so
can you read the topics of 1, 2, 3?
Okay,
4,
let
5?
me just tell you, just as a review. The first one we talked about, your partner throws, hits, or breaks things to make you afraid of them. Sometimes when you refuse to do certain, wait a minute, hold on a second. Make sure I have the right one. I'm reading from the right one here. No, that was the wrong one. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look that doesn't sound right. Hold on one moment. But anyway, talk while I find
Jacqueline says she knows a person like that. She knows somebody like that. We all, every one of us know people like that.
When I was talking about what that personality is like, I think everyone knows someone who can be really self-centered and selfish. And I mean, clearly thinks about no one but themselves.
Yeah. I got people like that. They'll never give you credit for something you do. They'll take credit for it.
Exactly.
Every time, it's not cool. It's not cool,
Yeah, they are yourself. They are the number one person in life.
I'm sweating. 7, excuse me. 7, go give me a face cloth, please. I tell you, I've been running all day. I just jumped in the shower just to get fresh for the show. Man, I'm still sweating nonstop.
That happens when you're rushing.
Yeah.
So I was reading from my list last week, I think it was. Okay. Oops. But, it's just good to know. One of the things I talk about all the time is knowing yourself well enough that you identify what you don't want to be married to or attached to. And, when you really know who you are and what you want in life, you have a tendency to make better relationship choices. So much better.
Yeah.
Okay. So I see
Jill on there. Hello, Jill. How you doing, Jill? I think she had a son that just graduated too. She used to run my football camp in Chicago.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Frank will be on later on in the show. He got busy, and actually that's his government name. He goes by something else on Facebook. I'm surprised he's out here right now because he's always in Facebook jail every day.
Okay. Well, congratulations to you too, Jill. Okay, so we talked about number 4. Let me read them off again. We said number 1 was people that traits of a narcissistic personality. They're charming at first. They come across, they're very charming people, by the way, at first. But then as you move forward with them, you will start to see that change once they feel as if they've gotten you in their corner, because you will always know you can't disagree with them. Your charm was probably because you were charming them at the time. And we talked about 2, they tend to hog the conversation. They talk about nobody but themselves. And they want you to talk. They're always the center of attraction is what it says. And number 3, you ever notice when you compliment them, how they react to compliments? That's another sign too. And then number 4, they lack empathy. They tend to be very insensitive to the feelings and the needs of other people. And that's not cool at all there. But that was number 4. Number 5, they don't have any or many long-term friends either, because their friends are conditional based on what you can do for them and how you make them feel. And number 6 was, this is where we get down to number 6. Number 7. Oh yeah, they're very negative and critical. They criticize everybody. No one is as good as them. You ever seen people, I don't care what you do, they will look for something wrong in it before they look for something right, or to give you a compliment over it. They will see something negative.
The negative.
And they're pretty good at gaslighting. And gaslighting is a form of manipulation and emotional abuse. And the hallmark of it, of these people that do that have that type of gaslighting, gaslighting is about, they do a couple of things. Number 1, they always project a problem onto someone else. And the other form of gaslighting is that they're never responsible for anything. It's always someone else's responsibility, or because of someone. So they can create the fire, but they'll blame someone else for starting the fire. So gaslighting is a hallmark trait of a person who's narcissistic, because they are never wrong. They never apologize. It's always someone else, and it's always what someone else did. And boy, this is a good one too. Back to this question here. You have a difficult time they have a difficult time defining the relationship with you. These are the people that they send these mixed messages. Like, one moment when they're expecting something from you, then there's this thing like, you should do this because I'm this and I'm that for you. And then when you try to bring some clarity to the relationship, that's what you have a hard time with them at, because it means ownership, it means taking responsibility, and they don't want to do that. So you may be in a relationship with someone and you're still trying to figure out what kind of relationship it is. Where do we fit in? Where do I fit in at? Where is it going? And they don't really tell you. I'll just read a little bit here of this here. So there are thousands of reasons someone might not want to label your relationship. Maybe they are polyamorous, and you both agreed to be so, and just to be friends with benefits. And that stuff never works. Works good for a narcissistic person because they're getting something they want. Exactly. Or you simply just keeping it casual. But if your partner is exhibiting some of the other symptoms on the list, they won't commit. It's like a red flag. Anyone who won't commit, they won't even tell you if you're friends with them. That's how bad it gets. So some narcissistic people will expect you to treat them like they're your partner, so they can, of course, reap the benefits. Treat me like I'm your partner. They reap the benefits, emotional and sexual benefits, while also keeping an eye out for prospects who they deem to be superior. Because number 1, they don't want anyone else to take their spot. However, they have no intentions of committing to you at that level.
Right. I was just talking to somebody like that. About he was like, I told my girl, I ain't never gonna get married. I ain't gonna do this. I ain't gonna do that. I'm like, well, one day it might just pop in your mind. But he was like, no, never, man. I was married before. She cheated on me. I had to pay her. I had to give her money, and I had money before I met her. And I was like, man, calm down. Think positive. You saying all the negative about being married. You got to think about the positive, because it's great to have a partner. You know what I'm saying? Every one of us needs a partner. So
right.
I'm just trying to coach him. I was trying to get him on here, but he was like, no.
Yeah. And and if rightly so, some people come out of relationships and they feel that way. And to be frank with you, they're not even ready for love or for an intimate relationship until they can heal that part of themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think number 9 was hold on a second. Oh boy, they think they're right about everything. And I've kind of alluded to that one already, and they never apologize for anything. That just kind of goes without saying. If they're always right, never apologizes, that's another huge sign. And then they panic when you try to break up with them. They're not offering anything, but it's like they want to keep you trapped. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Some of the things that you can look for.
Hey, what I was gonna say, do you actually? People seem like they don't see what's wrong with the person they're going out with, but everybody else does. You know what I'm saying? All your friends. My mom always told me, you don't want to go out with her. You know, there's always people that see stuff before you see it. Or is it that you just don't want to see it and you just let things slide? What do you think about that?
I think oftentimes people want to be in a relationship so badly that they will sacrifice certain things, like all the red flags that we get, they're there. But we kind of look past the red flag. We don't see them because everyone who's come out of a horrible relationship, they will always ask themselves later, how did in the world did I end up in that? I saw it coming somewhere. And then we just choose to believe that things are going to change, or we have all the facts. We know in our guts. I think we don't trust our instincts either, because in your gut, you know that this is not a person for you. But you will look at certain things that, instead of being, being guided by your spirit, that person, we tend to look for validations outside of ourselves instead of trusting intuition. And when we do that, if you're in a relationship with someone like a narcissistic person, another power that they possess is the power of manipulation. So if you're ever doubting me, I'm going to say just enough to make you question yourself. Gaslighting us about that. It's always about making you question your commitment, making you question your decision, like maybe something else wrong with me. Maybe I didn't see, or maybe I didn't hear them, so you're always trying to explain yourself. So I think people talk themselves out of the answers is what I think.
Do you think that's they have low self-esteem?
Well, that could be a part of it too. There's always more than one factor there. But because if you're the type of person, okay, let's just give it the benefit of the doubt that everyone in life get fooled at least once. If we just said that, okay? You heard the song, everybody plays the fool sometimes, okay?
Let me hear you sing it. Let me hear you sing it.
Everybody plays the fool sometimes.
Yeah. There's no exception to the rule.
So there's no exception. Everybody's been there before. Okay?
Everybody's been there.
But now, if you find yourself repeatedly there, now you got to ask yourself what's going on, because you're the common denominator now.
Well, some people, they just attract. That's what they're attracted to. You know what I'm saying? You're attracted to what you're attracted to, because there's some people always saying, why do I get the Doug? Why do I get this? That's who you attract.
Well, we attract what's in us.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
I want to say, hey, Toy is there. Hey, Toy, what's up? Renee's there. Hey, Michael Young, what's up? Hey, get a question in. Mike, get a question in.
There was one, it looks like Jacqueline has one up there, doesn't she? If you are single and you own property and you meet the love of your life, should you put him on your house if you guys decide to get married? And if you have older children, should your children's name be on the house?
Well, that's a kind of a hard question, but because California, we have our own laws here, and no matter what, it's 50-50. But the thing is with that, if your kids' name are on the house, also, it won't be 50-50. If you have 2 kids, it'll be a third, and your husband have a third. So,
well, it depends on a couple of things. One, there's property prior to marriage. Like people bring possession, property, assets into the relationship. Now, what I tell folk to do if you take the time to do your homework and do premarital counseling, that is one of the issues you must address or should address, because everything that you get while married, then that becomes joint property. But anything that I possess before the marriage, unless I say that I want to grant part of it to that person, then I could do that. But so there's a separation between what you own prior to the relationship, okay, prior to the marriage.
Right.
And if you own property, like in this question here, if you own property prior to marrying someone, that's a question you have to talk about and have an earnest conversation about the inheritance that you're leaving for your children. Because what you find happen oftentimes, someone gets married and then say they die. And here you have fights coming in, the new partner's family or children versus your children who may get cut out of something. So that's a question that you have to determine how you're going to handle that piece of your life. I believe that everyone should leave their children an inheritance. I will put it that way.
Oh, yes.
And if you have property before your marriage, that's one thing. But I don't see inscribed as someone else's name on my deed just because we're together.
You can put it in the trust.
I wouldn't even do that. We can buy property together, and then we split that. But I don't see where I need to change my deed to add your name to it. Well, and I don't see that he has to do that either. So,
Linda, you touching the you're talking about a touchy subject right now with me, because I was a professional athlete. So
I'm not saying that people shouldn't do
it. Let me see what happens when I'm on the field for 20, 30 years and I'm making all that money and then my wife leaves me. Do you think she should get half?
Well, again, I made a distinction there. We talked about your value before you were married versus what you built while you were married. Okay. So say you're a professional athlete, you came into, maybe you became a professional athlete before you were married. I don't know, or after you were married. But the point was, what was your value at the time you all got married? And then what did the other person, how long have they stayed in that relationship with you? And then what value have you gained since that time? So now they become a contributor from that point when they enter whatever it was to your success now.
I am gonna have to stop you on that because most people forget they that's how everybody thinks. But the truth is, we've been playing since we was in the 4th grade. We've been working since we was in the 4th grade. We've been breaking our backs, breaking our bones, doing all this work since we was in the 4th
You didn't have no money then.
Huh? No more. But that's the work we had to put in to get to that level.
But if that's the case, then I could talk about the work that I've put in to become the woman that I am, to support you and to have your babies and to do all the work that I do to care for the home. I had to prepare for that. So that's not, and I'll put it this way, because I've worked in family court for so long, we don't go that far back. The judges don't go that far back. Okay,
they sure don't.
So I can tell you that. So that's not even an argument there.
Half. They say half, right down the middle.
Yeah.
Half. How much did Tiger? You remember how much Tiger Woods' wife got?
No.
Oh man.
But I know it was million. But look what he was worth. It didn't hurt him.
You take a penny away from me, it hurts me. I'm just saying.
Tiger Woods, though,
I'm just saying.
And not only that, I mean, like, he paid for his behavior.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
anyway, let's get back to the subject.
Let's get to some questions. Well, okay. I'm trying to wait for Frank to come on.
So, Jacqueline, hopefully that answered your question. That's something for you to think about, to talk about. I see it one way, but that's really something that you choose to do. And hopefully it's someone that, I don't know, I would be questioning a lot of things. How long you've been dating? I mean, what are we bringing to the table? Are we going to be co-owners of each other's property? But someone coming into a relationship with me, especially at this, if you're over 40,
what?
Does he or she not have property anywhere that they have to put their name on yours? I'm sorry. This was built before they ever came into your life. I don't know. That's an individual choice. I'll just put it that way. There's no law that says you have to put a person's name on your property. if you
But do
get
you
married.
think, okay, do you think thinking that far is a negative already? When we're talking about love, because
I don't.
if I'm in love with you, and I know and I believe in my heart that we're gonna be together forever, and now I'm thinking about, oh, do I put her name on my house?
No, I think we should buy. I think we should get a house together. If this is a second marriage for you, if you've never been married, you don't have any kids, you don't have anything to think about.
Man,
But if you've been married before and you know the struggle you had to endure to provide something for you and your children, and then you take their name off and put someone else's name on, or however you do it. But again, it's a personal choice. But I just think that grown people who are responsible people, they understand that. I wouldn't want to go into a relationship with someone and tell someone I need to be part owner of everything they have, and they have children. We have to leave an inheritance for our children. I'll just put
we
it that way.
have to. That we have to, because I mean, most of us don't. I know some of my friends. It's like, man, you only live once. I'm buying what I'm buying, and I'm gonna just leave the rest of my kids. I said, okay, you got a trailer home, you got some dune buggies, you got some motorcycles. I'm like, dude, where's the house? He's always trying to get me to buy stuff like that, and I'm like, yo, if I'm spending 200,000 on that, then I could spend that 200,000 on another home. He agrees with me, but at the same time, he won't never do it. He said he only lives once.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to
And
leave
so
my.
yeah,
I'm
I just say know who you're marrying if it goes to that point there, because sometimes you need to know people's motive because they're in it to get it or to win it. Okay, so let's read some questions that we have here because our time is getting away. At what age does a single man, oh, this is a Stephen question here. At what age does a single man really want to settle down?
At what age? Well, with men, there's no certain age. You just know right then. This is the one. Like we've had a conversation on this before. Like women, it's like, okay, when I turn 27, I want to have my master's. When I turn 28, I want to get married. At 30 or 29, I want to have kids. Men, we don't think like that. It just, when you come by, we know it's you. We know
Okay.
that's when we're gonna settle down. We don't make plans like that. We just
Okay.
don't. I know most men don't even say when they get married. You know what I'm saying? That's too far. That's too far to think about. We trying to figure out what we doing tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we
It
trying to
makes
buy it.
sense. Maybe that's the problem.
That is. I mean, we're men and women in relationships. We're totally different. We're totally opposite.
So looks like I see someone that says, Michael said, it has everything to do with maturity, and that can go up and down the age bracket. That makes
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It has everything to do with maturity, where people are. Because I don't believe in this whole generalizing everything, because I think that we mess up when we do that. We don't give people individual um, attention and look at their own uniqueness when we say men this and women this. Are there some characteristics of that we all may share some traits, but at the end of the day, it's about maturity. It's about um, trauma in your life, silent trauma. Have you addressed issues in your life? Your perspective of what marriage is like, what commitment is like, what love is. Are you afraid of love? Is you have to put all of those elements into who we are, male or female, to determine why we don't get married or don't believe in getting married, and at what point we're going to commit.
Well, a lot of reason is because of the stories you hear. You know what I'm saying? When you hear a story, men always talk negative about being married. Because they say when you get married, when you get married and have kids, bruh, you ain't got no more sex. You ain't gonna have sex no more. I hear that that's across the board. You never
I
gonna have
just,
sex.
I
So the
just,
stories they hear be like, man, I ain't, I ain't getting married. But I'm telling you, fellas, hey, jump into it. Get married, man. Get married. It's a good thing.
well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because it was a conversation I was having with someone a couple of weeks, And I've actually written a blog. I've been talking about it on the radio show. I've been giving like, how do we get to this point where it's like there's no romance in the relationship? There's no sex after you say I do. And we have to ask, we talked about it on here, I think last week, but why do we do that? And we have to look at the factors, like before you were married, you didn't see each other 7 days a week. And if you did, it may have been for short periods of time. You didn't have the responsibility of caring for each other. You weren't there to see. In other words, we don't get to see each other's true nakedness and vulnerability until you're in a relationship. Then you get to see the full person. You see the tired person. You see the low person. You see, and so what do we do in situations like that? Is that we have to be sensitive to each other. We have to pay attention to those signs, because now you start to realize that relationships are not about the fun that you see, but now it becomes the work of life. It's the everyday living that we are not prepared for, and how to deal with the ups and downs. And if someone is having a down day, how do you create romance in that? It's remembering now that you're in that relationship so that it doesn't go sour. It's remembering to do little things along the way to be romantic, leaving a note behind, just doing a phone call just because, a note just because, a flower just because, preparing a bath just because. But there are things you have to do to keep your relationship, spiced up, and to remain connected and to feel each other romantically. And I think we forget to do that. You got kids and everything else.
The thing is, don't let yourself get old.
Yeah.
Only you can make yourself. You got to stay young, mind and heart, spirit. You have to stay young. You have to force yourself to stay young, because the more you talk about, man, I'm old, the more you're gonna slow down. You got to keep moving. You got to keep dating. You got to keep. Go ahead.
Okay, I noticed Michael said it was the chase. Now that there is no chase, you understand that your premarital lust, okay, I guess is what it was. You can't keep your hand up each other. Now it's like, say I always say we should look at marriage and relationships like your favorite meal. Okay, say you have steak. That's your favorite meal, to have a steak dinner. You
get tired of it.
Are you gonna have to switch it up a little bit, right?
Yeah, you get tired of it.
The way you prepare the steak, in other words, you can't eat the same steak every day, the same way. In other words, you got to switch it up a little bit. But makes sense. Okay. And yes, and love has to be kindled for sure. You have to find ways to rekindle the love in your relationship.
Yes.
Okay. What else do you have? Pardon?
No, I said continue dating. Never stop dating.
Exactly. Never stop dating.
And most important is giving space. That's more important than anything.
Giving space.
Stop crowding. Give space. Make you miss. Make them miss you a little bit. Yeah, man. You know what?
There's nothing worse.
What I hate is when a woman or a man says, "I'm going out. I'm gonna go hang out with the fellas. I'm gonna go hang out with the girls," and the other one gets mad. Like, oh man, let them go, bruh. Let them go. That'll make you miss them more. You know what I'm saying? You can't overcrowd anyone, because it chokes you. You can't breathe.
I call it cleanliness. Nothing worse than a clean person. You can't go to the bathroom without them.
Jealousy. Open your mind and heart, and don't be jealous. So get that jealousy. Once they jealous, it's crazy, man. Don't get it with a jealous person. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So moving on. I'm reading in the notes there.
Oh yeah.
But here's another question: does a man really want a woman who has something to offer him at his level of finance? Explain.
Ask that again.
Does a man really want a woman who has something to offer him at his level of finance? And I'm not sure exactly, because
what does that mean?
I don't know. That's all that's there.
Does that mean like, you want a woman that make more money than you?
Does a man really want a woman who has something to offer him at his level of finance? Maybe that's what she means. I don't know. Maybe that's what they meant. That
I don't understand that question.
maybe is does he want a woman that makes as much money as him? I guess. I don't know.
My wife makes way more money than me, so I ain't tripping.
Mm.
And I love it. You know what I'm saying? I
Okay,
love it.
you don't have a problem with it, do
I
you?
have no problem. Zero. Zero. So it's all
You
good.
know, and I think too that while welfare and well-being, how we live our lives is very, very important. I really think that we have to see beneath that. We have to go beneath the surface of really understanding the qualities of a person and what you're looking for. But I mean, like if money is your thing, you probably look for money and then you have an empty relationship because you got all of this stuff that fills your life and you have no quality, no substance in within your own soul, of the person that you're in a relationship with. And that right there within itself means that you have the big house, all the cars, and all the money you want, but people are unhappy a lot of times. I mean, look at Hollywood, prime example. They are not lacking money over there.
No. Look at Bill Gates.
Yeah,
Everybody always wanting to be rich.
they're
Bruh,
not. They're not
rich does
lacking.
not make you happy.
It
Rich
does
does
not
not
make you
make you
happy.
happy. It doesn't. The richest people are getting divorced. That's who get divorced the most.
Yeah,
The rich people.
money is not an option. So for them, it's not a
Love is
problem.
love. Love is so much more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Love trumps everything.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Come on,
Hmm.
man. You can love them. You can love a person on crack. Love is love, bruh. You can't stop love, man. That's all it is. So you can be in love with somebody who do crack, and then somebody past you that's making $1 billion. You ain't even gonna look at the dude making $1 billion because you in love with that person. It's just the way it is. Love is. Hey, y'all need to bring love into your heart, man. That's what it's about. So
Oh
let's go
yeah.
ahead. Let's move on.
Okay. So let's see. Let's take. I have one here. This is a good one here, but I see one there. Does a ring or a marriage have to come before you consider yourself no longer single? Oh, does a ring
That's a
or
good
marriage
one.
have to come before you consider yourself no longer single?
I know some people with rings and they still single. So I mean, a ring and that piece of paper, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Love, love. I mean, if you in love, you're not gonna do. If you in
Okay.
love with a person, that's who you want to be with. You know what
Well,
I'm saying? Go ahead, go ahead, Trump man.
I
I hear you. I
no.
hear
The
you.
there's the technical side of this is you are single. You have no legal rights to anything. So you're in this relationship with the person, you've been in there for years. And I've seen situations like this, okay? I've seen them in court. You've been with the person for years, and maybe they did get you a ring, but you were never married. One person dies, or whatever way they choose to lead the relationship. There's no way to divide assets in terms of who gets what. And if you die, the last of kin, next of kin, will get everything that you've been in a relationship for, that you've gotten into. So from a legal perspective, no, you're still single, okay? But now if you
Yeah.
want to be in there and be the make-believe person, or the spouse, by what they call it, the legal, this type of this, it's been a long time since I've heard the term, but when people call themselves married because they've been together for so long. So, you're just single. That just is all there is to it. And if that's all a person is offering you in return for commitment for the rest of your life, that's not a good deal.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. Ever have? Oh, he just said it, Mike.
Common law. There you go,
Common
Mike.
law.
That's the word I
I
was
was
trying to
going to ask
say.
you that. I was like,
Common
common
law
law.
marriage. I knew that was. I couldn't
Does
think.
that somebody? I was talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
Somebody said that don't matter anymore. They
It
cancel
doesn't.
common law.
Well, it depends on the state that you live in. Like some states still recognize common law marriage, but a lot of states do not even recognize common law marriage anymore. So yeah, yes, you're still single. I'm sorry, you're single until you get married.
Get that married. Hey, get him drunk. Get her drunk, and hey, take him to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? You wake up married.
You wake up married. I'm telling you.
For real.
Yeah,
Hey,
you wake up
happens in
married.
Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know? Hey, Pam, how you doing, Pam? Pam ain't been on here for a long time.
Yeah, you don't spend all your life with someone, and you don't even get to make a decision about the burial of their body with putting them away. I'm telling you,
it's crazy.
You have like totally lost out. If they have children, I don't care if it's common law. You can't do anything. You have no say so unless family is are gracious enough to allow you to. And God forbid, if they don't like you, they may not even allow you to come to the funeral.
So do you think that's why some people try to rush people into getting married?
No, people have various reasons for why they rush people into getting married.
You know, because I know a lot of guys are like, I don't feel like getting married. I don't want to get married. And the woman's pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. You know,
it's unfortunate that a lot of women have not recognized one of the worst things you can do. Hi, Pam. One of the worst things you can do is force a person to marry, whether be male or female, when they're not ready. Because when a person is not ready for commitment, they're not ready for marriage, they're not ready for love, you have nothing. You're in a relationship where you're constantly trying to make a relationship something that it's not, and trying to get something from someone who has no intentions of giving you what you need. So you shouldn't want a relationship to have a title so badly that you will settle for anything. So I say to young ladies, take your time. You don't need to be married that badly.
Yeah, you don't. Because if he's going to be there, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not the one, God is telling you to go after.
For you,
Yeah, that's the one.
And you're settling right now, because at the end of the day, most women are going to want love and affection. You don't get love and affection for someone who's not in love with you.
Exactly.
And so you have them there, but it's like they're there, they're not there. You're still feeling empty. And the worst lonely person in the world is a married lonely person. Let me tell you.
Michael said his wife wrote a book speaking to this issue. We might have to have her on here.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So there are things we have to do, but this is a good one. Let me read here. Wait a minute. That's not the one I want to read. I want to read this one first. Ladies, what's a nice way to tell a man their sex is not good when they ask? Men, pay attention.
Okay, fellas. It's like this. This is the mood. It's like, baby,
what's a nice way for a woman to tell a man
is it?
Not good when he asks.
I broke her back. Ladies, y'all need to answer that. How do you tell a man that his sex isn't good when he asks? How many guys? I mean, me and Dill ask kind of dumb questions. You know what? We do ask some dumb questions. You know what I'm saying?
And let me tell you something. That's a dumb question.
That is a dumb question, but we ask them.
But it's because I know that's the stroking of a man's ego.
That's all.
But anytime you have to ask someone 2 questions, if you have to ask someone, if they love you?
I always say that.
No, you don't always say yes. The fact that you have to ask them that question tells you what you need to know. Because when a person loves you, they speak it, they live it, they show it. You don't have to ask someone if they, like a woman to get right in the middle of making love, the guy and I've heard guys talk about this, right in the midst of it, she's like, do you love me? And he'd be like, and then, he may say something so he can keep moving forward, Let's
go down the list of dumb things.
Ask someone if their sex is good, asking someone if you love them. Look, if your sex was good,
how about
really good, you don't even have to ask her that question because you're gonna know it right there.
Maybe it's just conversation. Maybe you just want to conversate and makes it hotter, makes the moment hotter. Because I know guys be like, "Who's your daddy?" You know what I'm saying? Whose is it? You know what I'm saying? What if somebody asks? What if a man asks, "Whose is it?" And your name is Steve, and she say, "Well, it's Kevin's." Oh, it's going.
It's so break. When they think they're laying it down, it's like, whose is it?
Yeah, man, that is
But
funny.
look, I don't know. That's a good question. What do you
Men get in the sack,
think?
and that's what they want to. They just want to talk dirty. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's part of porn or something like that.
Talking dirty is one thing, but asking me if it's good is something different.
What about asking you, who's your daddy?
My daddy.
What about who's your daddy?
My
Is
dad
it
is my
mine?
daddy now.
Whose is it? Whose is it? You know what I'm saying? That's just you
So
know.
what? So I don't know. I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
guilty. I'm gonna just say
I
I'm a
don't.
man.
What
I'm guilty.
okay. So for a
When you
woman, I
working
don't.
it out, you working it
But if
out.
it's not good, do you tell them the truth?
Uh,
What would that do for a man's ego? You think your ego if she said,
okay, let's just say
"Baby,
me.
it's true, not all that," you know?
Let's just say me. Hey, I'm a soldier, bruh. I take a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Man, my mom always taught me to be the best.
Mm.
Shoot, don't challenge me. Do not challenge me. And it's only cracking. But other people might break their heart. You know, they might start crying and fall out and not come back. But shit, that's a challenge to me. You know, that's
So
all it is.
to answer that question, I don't know. I would just say to you, ladies, I guess you can give some consideration to how fragile he may be. You don't want to hurt his ego and break his spirit, but
Some people
maybe
saying tell the truth.
maybe you can find a nice way of telling him what you really like. What would be pleasing to you, as opposed to it's not good. Just tell him what you like.
Hey, Willard says, I can't please every lady, so I'm cool with that.
You don't need to please every woman, anyways. Just
No, no, he be trying to please every woman. He trying to
oh,
please
does it?
every
Oh my
woman.
goodness gracious.
Yeah. Pam says, tell the truth, shame the devil.
Uh-huh.
Let them know. Hey, let me hear Pam.
But I think when it comes to sex and the relationships, I think we need to talk more. And I don't think that all people live out their fantasies. Like people have fantasies in their head that they don't talk about. And so sex may be very bland, is like bam bam, it's over with. There's no foreplay. You have to have those conversations about what you want in your
Yeah,
relationships. Sex is a real conversation. Intimacy is a real conversation. If you want to keep your love life spicy,
spicy.
juicy, where there's connection, there's this bonding, there's the affection. When you look at that person, they turn you on. You got to do things. It's in the appearance, how you carry yourself. It's in the smell, how you smell. Do you do things intentionally to draw that honey? You draw bees with honey, not with vinegar. So it's down from the way you carry yourself, how you smell, your presentation. You shouldn't just look good when you go out. You should look
Yeah.
good for your honey 7 days a week.
And you
Every
must talk about it. You have to
every
talk
meal
about it.
that you eat, you look at the presentation to determine if you're going to eat it and enjoy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be a
And,
great presentation for your spouse, for your mate. Okay. Just be
yeah.
a daily presentation for him or her. That's how
Hey,
you get there.
know what your spouse likes.
Give a presentation.
Get them, a great presentation. Know what they like and discuss it.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a big thing. Like you discussed everything in a relationship. You
Yeah,
get
you
to
have
know her, and he get to know you, and
to.
that's what it's about. Tell them in the middle of sex. Tell them what you like. Tell them what you don't like. You know what I'm saying? You got to
Mhm.
speak on it. So he can get to learn you, or you can get to learn him. And believe me, if he
There
gets
you
to
go.
learn you, that's it right there. That's it right there. That's in this. If y'all want to buy my book, you know what I'm saying? I got the love making book. The Doctor of Love have the love making book.
All right.
I got
Well,
videos too. No, I'm kidding.
we need a copy of your book then. So another question I have here, is interesting. Is love a choice? Do we decide who to love and when to love? Or is love a force with its own will, determination, and set course? Wow.
Read
That's
that. Read
that's
that
a big
again.
question. That's a big
Read,
question. First, it's like you got these part A's and B's here, but is love a choice? What's the first part there? Is love a choice? Or do we decide who to love and when to love?
love is a choice. Well, I don't think love is a choice because you can't help who you fall in love with.
There we
So
yeah.
it's not even your choice. It's just like, how the hell did I fall in love with this person?
And
You
then
know,
part C of that, or is love a force with its own will, determination, and set course?
that's it right there. The second part. See,
The
Michael
third,
said
the third one,
the
it
third
was
one.
two choices. One, is it a choice? Is love a choice? The second was, do we decide who to love and when to love? And then C was, or is love a force with its own will, determination, and set course?
Three.
You
Three.
said
Michael
three.
said love is a choice. I think you're wrong, Michael, because you can't choose who you fall in love with. You can't choose that. You fall in love with who you fall in love with. That's just it. You know, you can try to love somebody, but it ain't gonna work if your heart is not feeling that person. So I'm going with number three. What was number three again? Read number three.
Is love a force with its own will, determination, and set course?
Ooh, Michael says lust is the force. Attraction.
Attraction. Okay, so lust, lust is short lived. In lust, people have to determine, how to deal with the lust of their flesh. You can always be lusting after something, even things you shouldn't have, are bad for you. It's like people who lust after drugs, lust after gambling. You're lusting after a person because they look great to you, but where's the self-control that says, you know what, that's going to get bland too, unless you're going from one woman to the next or a man to the next. Now, when it comes to love, and we have to be careful not to mix love with lust. In one chapter in my book, I actually talk about, is it love, lust, or obsession? And that's important to know. Which one is it for you when you're with a person? Because I can tell you how you know it's love. When you have been granted the patience to love a person in their failures, their shortcomings, to forgive them, and to still love them, that's the force right there. Because sometimes people are saying to themselves, I can't believe I'm doing all this. I do it. I love this person. And I do believe that love is a force. I don't think we can choose who to like. You can love someone and not like them. You can like them and not be in love with them. I think we can choose who we like. But it's something about the heart that recognizes, because love is like, and yes, and I like the fact that, I always refer to love as in the female gender, because love, she has the ability to love and to withstand all things. And she's gentle, but at the same time she's soft. And when she comes in and when she wants to release herself on someone, that's what she does. So love does kind of determine, there's a set course, I believe, for all of us to love at a deeper level than we love, but fear prevents us from doing so. So I believe it's more number three. It is a force, because there have been some times you're like, no, I'm not doing this, but there's a love that's run deep enough to say, you know what, you're going to love that person through that. And if you have the enough patience and compassion, you can create change. People will change if it's real love. And I'm not talking about this stuff that's jealousy, where someone acting psychotic because, like a maniac, because they don't think you love them or you did A, B, and C and they're going crazy. That is not love, period.
Right.
Because
Right.
love is a lot more gentle than that.
Read number three again, one more time for me.
Okay, so number three was, is love a force with its own will, determination, and set course?
Three all day.
You
That's
say
un-
three.
that
Okay.
is unconditional. That's
Mhm.
unconditional love. That's all that means is unconditional. I can't
Mhm.
help myself. Man, come on, man.
Now, Michael keeps saying that
Yeah.
all that is a choice. I don't think we choose who to love, because
Yeah.
well, I'll put it this way, and we are love beings. We're love creatures. That's one of the things I talk about. We are love creatures. We were designed to love. And anytime you are doing something outside of love, like you're carrying things like unforgiveness, hate, anger, all of those are inconsistent with who you are. And that's why it's so stressful to house these type of attitudes or emotions within your soul. That's why they make us ill. People, high blood pressure, diabetes, all these autoimmune diseases that are driven by stress, because we have so many issues going on within us that we cannot live, because love brings life. And because we were created to love human beings, that's that first level of love that we need. That's called agape love, because that's the unconditional love. Now, eros and romantic love, that's something that's totally different. And even that, you think about it. The person that you fell in love with, there was something about them that you admired that drew you to them.
Exactly.
You made
that was number three. That was number three right there all day.
They started out saying they weren't intending for it to be that way, but man, something happened. I couldn't get past her or him, and
just the swag they had, the movement, their movement, their swag.
She got me.
Something about them. Yep.
Yeah.
That's not forced. Come on, man. That's not a what do you call it? What do you keep saying? It's a choice. That's not a choice.
Yeah.
That's not a choice. When you fall for somebody, you fall for somebody. You can't help that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help who you fall for. But yeah, we got 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left. Time is going fast. Do you want to try to get one more question? I am kind of disappointed because I had one of my guys, he played for the Giants. His government name is Frank, but he goes by the name of, on Facebook, it's Naeem. He's usually on here writing and talking more crap, but he's been saying he's going to get on. He been hit me all day talking about he wanted to get on, but then he showed me at the last minute he had somebody just popped up over his house.
Oh, okay.
He this dude is freakier than anybody. Oh my goodness. But he was going to behave himself on this show, he told me. So
okay, so the only other question the last one I had was kind of in line with the one I just read. And that is, what's the difference between love, infatuation, and lust?
What's the difference between love, infatuation,
and lust?
Well, you know what? Didn't we just kind of answer that question? No, I mean, we was kind of talking about it.
Yeah.
Love. You want to tackle this, or you want me to?
Well, you can start, and then I'll share a little bit of what I have here. That's a pretty big chapter in my book where I talk about love, lust, or obsession.
Oh yeah, let me see that book again. Slow it down.
Oh, wait a minute. This way.
Other way, yeah, that way.
Yeah.
Hey, Dawn is on here. She said she finally got time to watch it. So no, do not hang up.
That's it here. So yeah, but on page 62 in here, I talk about love, lust, or obsession. And the reason I wrote that chapter, because I noticed too, back to this question here, infatuation, we get the things so mixed up. Infatuation is something that's short-lived. It's a high emotion, something you feel. And then oftentimes this is when people run into a situation, sex right away, because you're infatuated by what you see. And then you realize after you've done that, there's nothing else there. There's no substance to it. And the same way with lust, there's no depthness to it. There's something called the pleasure principle. And in the brain, we function from pleasure. And if I were to use Freud psychoanalytical preview of how the mind works, he talked about the id, side of us. So the id part of us is that part that wants pleasure. It wants what it wants when it wants what it wants, and as a result of that, it's constantly seeking pleasure. We don't like pain of any sort, physical pain. We don't want to struggle. Then that's the id part of you that just want life to be beautiful all the time. Infatuation and lust dwells in the id. Love, of course, is a part of what's called the superego, because this is where compassion comes in, and this is where purpose and meaning of life comes in at. So love becomes a lot deeper, but lust and infatuation, or about the pleasure principle?
Yes, Dawn just said
We
the
have
same
one.
thing. She said
Mhm.
affection and lust are short-lived. The
Yeah.
same exact thing you
Short
said.
lived. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have 1 minute left, and
Hmm.
I have people on here asking where can they buy the book, or what's the name of your book? If you
Oh,
can kindly
the
tell them
name
the
of
name of
this
your book.
book again is called, oops, wait a minute. The Art of Manifesting Love. Great book. Great book. And in fact, I spend some time in the front of the book talking about the love from a physiological perspective and how we all have the ability to raise our love portion by ourselves in our brain, because there are certain chemicals and endorphins in the brain that as love is generated, the feeling of love is generated, and things you can do to generate love. Some people don't even know how to feel love because they are afraid. Love requires such a huge vulnerable part of ourselves. That is what's frightening about it, because we all want love. We want to feel it. No one wants to just be in a relationship existing. You want to feel love, the magic of love. But it's a very fearful thing because love requires that you be vulnerable.
Yeah, it can be dangerous. It can
It's,
be
it's
dangerous.
dangerous. But you know what? That's what love is. It's giving someone the right to destroy you, yet trusting that they will not do it. And so it makes it. So I talk about how do you we build ourselves to become these people of love, because that's by our human nature, our spiritual nature is that we are creatures of love, and anything outside of that, we're inconsistent with who we are, and that's why we have so many of the other social problems and mental disorder as a result of that. Mental disorder, all of them are rooted in relationships. They started right in the midst of a relationship, whether it was in childhood or going up through life. But anxiety, fear, depression, insecurities, the lack of self confidence, the lack of knowing that you're enough, your true spiritual self, that giant that's within all of us, that's capable of loving. Ah, powerful.
So that's it. We're gonna have to call it a night. It is a little after 8. So go ahead and introduce yourself one more time, and we got to get out of here.
Okay, as you
As
know,
as
again,
Kim plays in the background.
okay, I am Linda Streeter. I am love and relationship matters with Linda. That's what I talk about. I'm on Facebook, by the way, under that same name, Love and Relationship Matters, with Linda. And then I have a radio. I do that. I do a talk show on a gospel station, and I'm an author, and I am a mediator. I do conflict resolution, every aspect of marriage, from premarital counseling to if there is a divorce, on how to help you recover from broken relationships. So that's who I am.
All right, all right, all right. Hey Sonia, how you doing? I'm Stephen Pierce, the Doctor of Love, former Cleveland Browns wide receiver, former president of the NFL Players Association, and we are here every Friday night to answer your love and relationship questions. As we say, just ask us anything and we will give you an answer. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next Friday. So when you see the post, get your questions in early. Get your questions in early. We're supposed to have a special guest tonight, but he got a little busy. But we'll see y'all Friday.
All right.
Love
Thanks,
y'all.
guys, for tuning in, and thanks for your participation. Good night, Stephen.
Good night.